A dildo for Jennifer Lawrence. I could
Let
not
me
believe it.
let me quote my notes here. I said that it's a bold choice to depict black men that way in 2025, but I'll leave that for the black men to unpack.
You know what? It's this, it's D, and you're listening to It's Really That Deep. D, it's been a crazy 2 weeks, but London Film Festival has now ended. How do you feel now that it's over?
I felt sad, to be honest. It was very, very crazy. I was literally fighting for my life, trying to juggle work, other commitments, editing, and then also attending screenings at 8 a.m. Sometimes as late as like until 10:30, I think, for one of them. It was obviously crazy, but it was just such a great experience. I watched so many interesting stories from around the world. I met some really interesting people from around the world. It was just a great atmosphere. What about you?
You did more late night screenings than me. I don't know about all this 10:30 business you're talking about, but I did do a lot of early mornings and I struggled with that. I think in the future I would try to avoid that in my schedule if I can.
Mhm.
It was really like very affirming for me, very dysfunctional, very stressful sometimes, but very affirming for me. It was so cool to be around a bunch of other people that are just into the stuff I'm into
Mhm.
casually. And even seen a lot of people that I've only ever seen online, whether it's film critics, whether it's writers, whether it's filmmakers, whether it's like film updates on Twitter. So yeah, I'm very happy that we did it. Now we're going to talk about Die My Love. It has been described as a black comedy drama film. It's directed by Lynn Ramsey from a screenplay she wrote with Enda Walsh and Alice Birch. It's based on a 2012 novel of the same name. The story is you have a character called Grace, played by Jennifer Lawrence, who is a young mother who develops postpartum depression, and alongside her partner Jackson, Robert Pattinson, she enters into psychosis. They move from New York City to Jackson's rural childhood home in Montana in search of a quieter life. As they adjust to their new surroundings and become parents, she struggles with feelings of isolation and psychological distress. She does stuff like shooting their dog. Well, the dog that he brings home, I think his uncle shoots himself. She has all these visions of horses and this man on a motorcycle. She sleeps with this man. I don't know if it's real or not. All sorts of things happen. He's seeing her while now. He tries to get her to get some help. Then he proposes to her. They get married. But then after the wedding, she takes the baby and walks all the way down the street. Many times she tries to climb out of moving cars. There's just a lot going on.
Mhm.
Ultimately, by the end of the film, she takes off her clothes, goes into the forest and sets things on fire and walks in. And then Jackson goes after her, and I think that's the last thing we see is that she's naked in the forest, fire is starting to consume her, and he's behind her, and that's the end of the film. D, was Die My Love good, bad, or mid?
Die My Love was bad. I wasn't entertained by this movie. And by the way, I'm someone who's very sympathetic to the theme here. It's actually something that controls my life decisions, actually, right? That's how important this theme is to me. So I'm a prime audience member for this movie and it didn't work for me. I think that anything this movie tried to do, Night Bitch last year did it better. And I still didn't even like that movie.
Clark it. Very bad film. Very, very bad film. In a year where I thought a lot of movies were not good, this managed to stand out as particularly bad. One of the worst things I watched at LFF. It was kind of, it felt like a waste of my time. It felt
Yes.
like a waste of its talent. It felt, and my time was very precious during this festival, as we've talked about. So
Mm,
after I watched it, I was like, should I have watched that film?
mm.
It's just not a serious film. It's an unserious film masquerading as a serious film. There's so many things about it that I think are mid and bad, but in particular, I really want to highlight the use of Lakeith Stanfield in this film
Mm.
as something that's particularly crazy, borderline problematic. In fact, not
It's
even borderline.
basically it's
He's a
basically a dildo.
he's a dildo.
He's a dildo in this movie.
D. I literally looked at the person I was watching this film with. I said, Lakeith Stanfield is Jennifer Lawrence's character's dildo in the
Yeah.
film.
It's not subtle.
What was going on in this movie? Like you said, everything he tries to do with postpartum depression, Night Bitch did better. And once I thought that movie was flawed, I thought the central performance was good, and I thought the
Yes.
movie was kind of okay. Also, very importantly, I believed some of the characters in that movie. I don't believe anybody in this damn my love. I don't believe Jennifer Lawrence is some woman in rural Montana losing her mind. I don't believe she's pregnant when they show her pregnant. I don't believe Robert Pattinson is her rural husband, American husband, not
Mm.
with whatever accent he
Oh
was doing
God,
in this film.
yeah.
I don't believe any of it. I don't believe this woman's child would have been taken away from her a long time
Long
ago.
time ago. Long
Long,
time ago.
long, long time ago. From when she was waving a gun around in the house in the evening with the baby there, leaving knives with the baby, shooting the dog. Like, let's be serious now. Let's actually be serious. Also, him proposing to her after she had that episode with the
Yeah.
baby, I was like, what is going on here? Like, sometimes I was like, okay, is it all supposed to be surrealist, so I shouldn't take things too literally, it's high art? And then I'd be like, no, this film doesn't deserve that. It doesn't deserve the benefit of the doubt.
So one of the things I hate about this movie the most is the fact that at least with Night Bitch, there were conversations about what was contributing to the postpartum depression, i.e., the unfair division of labor, right? This movie doesn't even have that to say. Like for the first hour, it was almost like they were saying if Jennifer Lawrence just gets the sex that she wants, then that will solve her postpartum depression. And I'm sorry, it doesn't work like that.
Oh, I even forgot about that. I forgot about her constantly begging Robert
It was
Pattinson. No,
ridiculous.
no. Um, I will say that I did get the impression they were trying to make some kind of weaponized incompetence points with Jackson, like him bringing that dog after she said we need a
Yes,
cat in this house.
yes, I see that.
So in some ways, like he is messing with her in his
He
own
was,
useless way.
but the reason why I feel like it doesn't properly land that point is because when she goes completely nuts, right, and they finally, after like an hour and a half, send her to a hospital, we see that Patterson's character does pick up all of that responsibility, and it doesn't even show him necessarily struggling under the pressure of that.
It's true. She comes back home and the house
Yeah,
looks
everything was
presentable for
clean. So I was
once.
like, okay, so he's literally have it in my notes that okay, so he wasn't demonstrating weaponized incompetence then, because a guy who's demonstrating weaponized incompetence, if she was coming back from the hospital, best believe that house would have been upside down.
Or he would have found another woman to come and
Yeah,
do
yeah,
it.
yeah, all that stuff. But he didn't do that. So I was like, so what's the point of this movie then? You have nothing to say. There's no story here.
Gee, that is the theme of the film. You have nothing to say.
Yeah.
So many women came together to make this film, from the writers to the directors to the original novelist, and all they had to say was nothing and use Lakeith Stanfield as a dildo.
And the thing is, like, I don't want to be problematic in the sense that I don't want to imply that wealthy women don't have issues with this because they do, right? But I wonder if it's because of the wealth aspect here. Maybe they genuinely don't know what it is to be a woman that is suffering postpartum and is in the economic situation that Jennifer Lawrence's character is in. Because remember, these people are basically homeless. They're in their family's house. Yeah. So when you've got all of those pressures on you, and then you've got postpartum depression, and then you've got a husband that's not stepping in, I feel like there should be more to say here, but maybe because they're potentially, I don't want to make assumptions, but potentially they don't have that level of strain. They don't have the fluency to discuss it.
But you see, even you saying that, like I watched this movie and I didn't even understand what level of socioeconomic class I'm supposed to be interpreting of these people. Why? Because throughout this film, once I'm supposed to be believing that they're in some backwoods, rural Montana town and
Mm,
Jennifer Lawrence is just this poor housewife just trying to do whatever. At the same time, they keep on talking about this novel she's writing. And
mm.
also, her character's hair at all times looks like Jennifer
It's
Lawrence's
true.
hair in a hair commercial for Tresemme.
Facts.
Her
Facts.
hair at all times looks Hollywood ready. And I'm like, not even rich, wealthy women, when they're dealing with postpartum depression right after their babies are born, if they're just sitting at home alone, their hair doesn't look like this. Talk less of I'm supposed to believe some rural poor woman, her hair is looking like this as she's crawling on the ground, rolling around in the
Facts.
soil. So that was also distracting. Another reason I couldn't take the film seriously, which is why I continue to say this is an unserious film masquerading as a serious film, because it has all these abstract elements and a bit of surrealist vibes, and because it premiered at film festivals, and it has Robert Pattinson and Jennifer Lawrence, who are
Yeah.
considered to be serious actors, and Nick Nolte and Lakeith Stanfield. It looks at a glance like a serious prestige movie, and then you watch it and you're like, oh no, this is just silliness.
Yeah. And the one thing I will say is this movie does have one thing over Night Bitch, which is that it's obviously more beautifully shot, right? But when you have the budget, I expect that from you. So I can't even really fully give you the credit for that.
Yeah, I wasn't even that gagged by its aesthetics. I'm measuring everybody's cinematography this year against films like My Father's Shadow and Hamnet and stuff like that. So I'm not that moved. I know I keep on mentioning him, but I just want to dedicate some time for specifically talking about Lakeith Stanfield's character and the black people in this movie. I'm genuinely stunned by what they did there. So as she's descending into her postpartum depression and mania, we keep seeing Grace's character have like these flashes or hallucinations of a man in a motorcycle helmet and a motorcycle riding around. And I think he's wearing dark clothes. She also sees a black horse a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So she sees a black horse and she sees a black man because it's eventually revealed that this man she's seeing is played by Lucky Stanfield. And she has some kind of like lust towards him. Then later on, we see her near a grocery store and we see this same man, but this time he's not dressed up in some motorcycle with his black wife and their daughter, and they're getting her stuff out of I think she's in a wheelchair, out of the boot of the car or something. And then she looks at him and she just walks towards them and they share a whole moment and they gaze at each other, and then he goes off on his way. And then later on she walks from her home to his family's house, which is some like flashy, more bougie house that he has, somewhere in the middle of nowhere as well. So we're supposed to believe these black people are staying in this bougie house
Literally.
in the middle of nowhere in rural Montana. Okay. And again, with him saying no words, he doesn't speak a single word in this film, if I'm
Mm-hmm.
not mistaken.
Because he's a dildo. Dildos don't speak.
She then goes to go and he comes out of his house where his wife and his baby are. He goes to the back shed of this house in the middle of nowhere. He takes off his pants.
Yeah.
She uses him as a dildo. He still doesn't
Yeah.
say a word. And then next thing we see, Robert Pattinson's Jackson is roaming around wondering where is his wife. That which is she with her dildo? And we either don't see him again after that, or the next time we see him, he's another hallucination or another glance of him just standing in the meadow. I was stunned.
Because the
Not
job's
just
done. The
I
job was done.
I was stunned not just because like of the explicit dildo usage of this black man in this film, but also because of all people to cast. Lakeith Stanfield, one of the more
Yeah.
interesting, eccentric, cool actors in Hollywood you could get just in general, regardless of race. That is all you call him to do, to wordlessly be a dildo for Jennifer Lawrence. I could not believe it.
Let me quote my notes here. I said that it's a bold choice to depict black men that way in 2025, but I'll leave that for the black men to unpack.
You know what?
Let me come out of black men's business. This one is for
Facts.
y'all.
Facts.
Take over.
I can't
Yeah.
be caping too much. I can't stop thinking about the fact that it's a bunch of white women that wrote this, directed this, cast this, acted in this, and they all came together and said, let Lakeith be our dildo.
Right, let me jump back into black men's business for 1 second, because I was thinking about this. I was like, is there a graceful way for me to interpret this? Is this just her trying to go for the exact opposite of the husband that's disappointing her? So obviously Robert Pattinson is a white man, and now she wants to go for the opposite of that. So that's a black man that doesn't talk. I don't know. And apparently is richer than Robert Pattinson. Is that what's going on here? That's the best I can do.
So, in which case, then I would take the interpretation that he's an imaginary character. He doesn't actually exist, or maybe he's a random man that lives in their town that she has seen in passing, and then now she's hallucinating a version of him, of this cool, suave, super rich man, like you said, opposite of Robert Pattinson in every way. Black, super wealthy, mysterious, doesn't talk back at her, and gives her the sexual gratification that she needs. If that's the point that they're making, that is a point to be making. It's a choice.
It's a big
It's
choice.
a choice. It's an interesting choice for the kid to participate in. But but like you said, we'll leave that to the black men to address it. I was stunned when I was watching. I was like, surely something else is going to happen here. Like maybe the second half of this movie, it suddenly switches to his point of view or something. He's going to have some kind of confrontation with her, or him or her partner are going to have a conversation. They are going to have this character do something but provide wordless sexual gratification to this white woman, and it just never happened.
It was literally giving plantation fantasies. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's absolutely wild. But again,
It's
I can't
it's the fact that they went to the back house, the our house
literally
out in the back in the
in the
fields,
fields. Yeah.
and all you see is just like the top of his nude form above her,
Mm-hmm.
giving her the gratification she wants, and then that's it. You don't hear from him again. Actually, you never
Mm-hmm.
hear from him because he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't speak. I was stunned.
Mm-hmm.
I was stunned.
As you said, Lakeith Stanfield chose that role for whatever reason. I don't want to judge, maybe it's a bit tight in Hollywood at the moment. Maybe this was the only role that came along, but yeah, I actually don't have anything more to say about this. I agree with you, it was diabolical. I was shocked. And I said, well, this is up for black men to discuss, not my business.
This film is a representation of everything that I think is mid about quote unquote prestige film this year. Like, y'all need to be more serious. It's not by force you have to release a film. If you don't have anything to say, don't say anything at all.
I will say, I think the worst thing about it for me is, again, there really is no story here. As in, all we see for 2 hours is Grace progressively get worse, get slightly better, get worse, get slightly better. And by the way, that does mirror the way how people can heal over time from postpartum depression. So I wouldn't be annoyed about that if they were making some stronger commentary along the way about what the causes of that are in her life. But again, the movie really has nothing to say. I really feel that the director just wanted us to watch Jennifer Lawrence descend into chaos for 2 hours without giving us any sort of emotional payoff. I'm no shade, like, I didn't care about her character at all. So when she walked
No,
into the fire, I was like, okay, finally.
no, not one bit. Like, not one bit. With all my criticisms of Night Bitch, Amy Adams got me to kind of like
Yeah.
feel something for that character. With this woman, I was just like, exactly when is CPS going to step in? That's all I just kept on wondering. Like, that so you mean this baby is still in this house? And that was it. I had nothing else whatsoever emotionally to say about that character. A bit of background context is that Martin Scorsese produced this film, and apparently initially when Jennifer Lawrence was first approached about it, she wasn't necessarily going to do it. But then obviously Martin Scorsese was involved, so she said, I'm going to do it. But again,
Mhm.
just because something exists as a script doesn't mean you need to make it into a film if you don't actually have
Mhm.
anything profound to say. Think about all the Hollywood talent involved in making this film that honestly will be a footnote in like film history books. I don't even expect this movie to do well this award season. And if it does, that's how I know that Hollywood is really not
Yeah.
serious.
Another thing about this movie, which I didn't necessarily like, was it does that thing where they want to tell us that this young couple have so much chemistry and they're so in love. And for the first 5 minutes, all we see is them fucking around in different places in the house. And I'm like, I know what you're going to do. You're going to use this as a jumping off point to say that, well, now they're going to have a happy family. And that never ever works for me. I'm not saying that people don't do that in real life, but I'm just saying this idea that I should be convinced of their love because they're having sex and that's the foundation on which they're going to build a family is absolutely ridiculous. So whenever I see it, I'm literally waiting for the penny to drop and for the whole thing to come crumbling down.
I also just want to note that Lynn Ramsey eventually agreed to do Die My Love only when the focus of the story was confirmed to be about it being a bonkers crazy love story rather than it's being about postpartum depression. And
What?
I'm
What?
I'm just reading what the reporting is saying, and I'm just like, what movie did you people
Love
make? What movie
story?
did I watch? And the
Love?
crazy thing is, this film is neither a successful depiction of postpartum depression, nor is
No
it a
love.
successful
Literally.
depiction of a crazy love story. I don't buy any of it. So
Love.
y'all need to be serious. It's interesting because Jennifer Lawrence has had a child in real life, and I believe she either had just had a child or was pregnant when they were filming this.
Oh, wow.
And unfortunately, I think she's a good actress in other things, but unfortunately, I wasn't feeling like she was able to tap into that with this. Whereas I do feel like Amy Adams was able to tap into
Yes.
something in Night Bitch from her real life.
This may go back to what you mentioned about the presentation of her, right? She's a bit too put together for me to believe that this is a woman going through severe postpartum depression. And I'm saying that as someone that has seen
Exactly.
it up front in real life. It's not nice at all. Whereas Amy Adams' depiction convinced me, one, and I'm not saying that in a derogatory way at all, she looked more like an ordinary woman. She looks like someone that I would see just on the street, multiple times a day. And so she's able to come across in a way that's more believable in terms of the presentation of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it is a failure of costuming and hair and makeup to some degree. Jennifer Lawrence shouldn't be looking like the way she does
Yeah,
in this film. And it's nothing about you say, oh, she's too pretty to play the role. That's the
yeah,
job of hair and makeup.
exactly.
Do your job.
And I'm not even saying that she's too pretty to play the role. I'm literally just saying, like, even if you're pretty, pretty people look disheveled when the time comes, right? And I just wasn't getting that. And her performance wasn't giving it either. The performance felt like cartoonish at times. It felt like this was an actress that just wants to play a bit of a kooky role. This is the sort of role I wouldn't be surprised to see Emma Stone playing, actually. I do have one or two positive things to say about the movie, though. What I did like was the use of sound to communicate overwhelm. That worked very well for me in the first 30 minutes of the film. And I'm saying this as someone who does get overwhelmed by sound. I can't stand being in super noisy, chaotic spaces. And this movie goes out of its way to, first of all, we have the dog that Robert Pattinson's character brings home. And the second that dog comes, no shade, I was like, please, let's get rid of this dog. So no, like I'm not even trying to be controversial, but when the dog finally exited the earth, I was quite happy about the loss of that. And then we also had some other sounds. We have the baby crying nonstop, which this is a recurring theme when it comes to these sorts of movies anyway. But we also had things like the mosquitoes. There's a scene where she's in the house and you can hear the super loud mosquito sound. You can hear the car being super loud. And it really helped me to feel that claustrophobic feeling. Nothing to do with Jennifer Lawrence's performance though. There are also a few quite cool visual shots where we see Grace like they're trying to do that camera trick where you see people slipping in and out of consciousness, and then it's up to you to figure out, okay, well, are they conscious or not? That's about it for the positive stuff for me.
That's more than I can say. I have nothing positive to say about this film, even on the technical level. I wasn't gagged by anything. I don't think it's poorly shot. Like, it doesn't look ugly or jarring to me, but I have nothing positive to say about it technically. Not on the visuals, not on the sound, not on the location. It all just washed through me.
Let's get into ratings. Des, how would you rate Die My Love out of 10?
Find My Love is a 3 out of 10 for me.
Oh, okay.
And that's me being generous because I wanted to actually
Yeah,
give it a 2.
okay.
The only reason I'll give it a 3 and not a 2 is because I don't think the performances are bad. Like, I don't think they're good. I just think I'm watching mediocre direction and
Oh,
a boring script. But I don't feel like the actors are like straight up bad. I do think some of the crew didn't do their jobs correctly though. But for me, I don't give very high scores or very low scores easily. Like I is you have to be extraordinary to me or extremely painfully bad for me to drop below 3 or to go above a 7.5 for me. So this is not the worst film I've ever watched. So that's why I'm not going to give it a 2. But it is bad. It's probably my least favorite film I think I watched at LFF.
so I'm giving Die My Love 2 out of 10. It was my least favorite movie at the London Film Festival. I felt that I wasted my time. I was not entertained. Again, this subject matter is very important to me as a woman of my age as well. And I just felt like it made a mockery of it. It didn't take it very seriously. They have absolutely nothing to say about the subject matter. And that's fine. But then go and pick another movie. Then go pick a fantastical movie and do that. You don't have to do this. I did feel like the performances weren't very good. I wasn't impressed by Jennifer Lawrence. It felt cartoonish. It almost felt like she was treating it as a joke. And let me tell you, it's not a joke. Women get seriously harmed. Babies get harmed from this sort of stuff.
The crazy thing, I've heard Jennifer Lawrence say that she had postpartum depression after her baby.
And look, I feel bad in that sense because I definitely don't want to minimize what she went through. But again, and I understand that postpartum depression will look different for every woman. But as someone who has seen multiple women go through this in real life, nothing in this movie felt like what I've seen at least. And so yeah, I can't give it any more than a 2. And those 2 points are for the sound editing basically. And a little bit of the cinematography. That's it.
Okay, D, does Die My Love pass the Bechdel test?
Yes, but it doesn't. This movie doesn't feel really like it's got anything to say about gender either, because again, they don't get into the weaponized incompetent stuff. And the reason why I keep harping on about that is because it's so important when it comes to women's experience. Even the gender pay gap that is typically associated with caring responsibility. Why are women doing more of the caring responsibility? It's because the men in their lives or their partners are not doing their fair share. Don't pick up this subject matter if you're not informed about how important it is for women around the world.
How does it pass the Bechdel test? Is it one of the conversations between Grace and Jackson's like female family members?
Yes. Yeah, so basically the female family members are warning her about oh, don't let the baby cry. Basically doing that thing that is really annoying where a woman would be pregnant and then women come to say, "Oh, it's going to be really hard by the way." Like this is not an appropriate time to do that.